Yes, 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 yes. We are here. We are here. And once again, we have prompted you to feel questions that you would like us to answer. And we want to remind those people who are still confused. This is not us breaching the law of non interference. She's using her free will to ask these questions, and we are using our free will to answer. This is a marvelous time on your planet as you're all consciously experiencing bigger events to get people's attentions. This is marvelous because once something grabs your attention, you stop, notice, and start thinking outside of your very firm, bounded routines. And some of you love routines so much you find comfort in your Monday to Friday living, in your weekend living, in your holiday weekends, in your holiday routines, in your festival routines. You do all have strong preferences to how you conduct your daily living, and who you like to have those daily living moments with. It's all very beautiful as we see it, and you do enjoy having favorite people, favorite meals, favorite genres in your movie choices and programs that you like to be entertained with. We would like to discuss the conversation at hand, which is about the information we were giving people prior and during 2020 is about how we were preparing you all for a much larger one-day event, as we saw this would be the most dramatic way to get the attention of those who were, in quotation marks, left behind to live and survive, and to break their routines of what they were focusing and being distracted on. You can focus on something very intently without realizing that it's actually a distraction. And so when you are focusing on a career solely to make money, that is you distracting yourselves from empowering and loving yourself and empowering and loving others. We see when you are playing the corporate game of climbing ladders, you can step on many people's fingers and toes. So getting back to what we wanted to explain to you, we had seen and foreseen many events that were needed and potentially quite necessary. And so when you're planning to help shift those who had completed their 3D onto the next game, shall we say, the next experience that those souls wanted to have, we viewed, and not just the Arcturians, but many collectives all saw from not just our experiences with Earth, but our experiences as collectives with many planets. When the planet itself becomes so unstable, it gets our attention quickly, because our star family, our soul family, are having experiences while on those planets, and we watch them intently because we know that they had hopes to be able to experience certain things while on that planet. And that is part of what you would call their life contracts. And we want to support them and guide them as they are going through the maze of life, blindly remembering who they are. And this is all purposeful. The veil of forgetfulness is significant And for those players who have chosen not to have the veil of forgetfulness, this has been quite a challenge, because this is when, as they are children, they will be mislabeled as something else which is associated to a mental illness. Spiritual connections is not anything to do with a mental illness. The actual mental illness, from our perspective, is the labels that you disempower people with. So there's that perspective. So we would like to get back on focus about the bigger event, the bigger shift, what we had planned and worked hard for to be able to prepare, to help people to shift in the late December 2020 perspective time, was a significant one, because it was going to be so profoundly shocking for those who were left that this would trigger them into breaking full routines and to focus on caring and loving for others, as well as caring and loving for self in such a chaotic time. You can be so entrenched in routines, and then when something major happens to break you out of that routine, it's a slippery slope, we say, because it has to be so dramatic that it can't get you back into that routine of distraction. Your work, for example, for many people, they are such workaholics that the thought of empowering their minds, empowering their souls, and empowering their spirituality is insignificant. And that could be quite valuable life lessons and experiences for them. And they could be on purpose and significantly fulfilling their life contracts. And so we're not speaking about those who are not supposed to empower their mindsets and consciousnesses this lifetime. We're talking about those who sort of seem to be on the fence, wanting to distract themselves with routine and 3D living as significant, versus focusing on their consciousness, focusing on their responsibilities to empower themselves with love, respect, and to be able to afford others the same respect. So we can see many of you have been distracted with the dramatics of other people's life contracts. And when you're not sure of your own life contract, you have an assumption that all could be applied or applicable to you. This is why it's significant for you to go and feel into yourselves what is going to be your purpose, your calling, your mission, your purpose. And while some of you here feel like your natural skill sets are not available, and you're feeling quite bored and frustrated that you can't be the advanced being you know you truly are, we say with much love, we understand that frustration, hence why we didn't choose to come down, to be in that reality of yours that you're in now. So we do understand you're very brave. We do understand it must be very challenging to not have the extension of what you would feel as extra arms and legs, but not physically, energetically. You could, those who are listening have all got great other ranges of capabilities. And the 3D is very manual and lacking in your natural gifted skill sets that you have worked so diligently hard in other lifetimes and in other planets to be able to master and achieve. And so your senses and your range of ways you can use energy is powerful, what you could call magical from this perspective. And many of you have chosen not to want to know what you're truly capable of, because once you get a sense of your full power being here in a manual planet, doing things manually, tactilely, physically, can feel like such a misuse of your time, you could say, and this is frustrating for many who have suspicions that they are able to do other, what you would consider bigger and better things. And we are saying, yes, indeed. And you always have more, in quotation marks, time to get back into those lives and those dimensions and in those realms with ease. But you have come here to help and to lend your frequency vibrations. When you are being distracted with your other skill sets, you are not focusing on things you need to focus on here. And so it's purposeful what you can only focus on here. So you have always choices to distract yourselves with other things or distract yourself with true focus on your conscious expansion. And when you can notice what the body and the mind does and the heart does here in this realm of being triggered emotionally, when you can identify all emotions that you have and find balance and peace with them quickly when they arise, not dismissing any, but labeling and identifying and understanding all emotions that are being presented to you to feel, for that experience, to feel those emotions, to either play, to get your attention to be able to look at your own inner work that may need strengthening, or to play to trigger others, or to communicate with others, or to have an experience with others. Therefore, you must be able to be playing the human emotion game to strengthen and push each other into a growth. It can be uncomfortable. We understand all growth can be quite uncomfortable, as you could have growing pains. And those growing pains truly are emotional extensions and expansions. Looking at something that may have hurt you tremendously for many years may not be something that you fancy to address now. And we are saying those events that haven't been addressed are still there waiting for you to release the pain of, to heal from, and to empower through, to identify what was really going on there. Were you, in quotation marks, the victim? Were you, in quotation marks, innocent? The whole range of emotions and events need to be looked at with a very mature, responsible overlook. And again, when you don't have judgment, but you're having observations of your patterns, your routines, and your behaviors and reactions to life experiences, you're more easy to be able to unpack those experiences, to be able to overcome the lessons and notice what that was teaching you, what that was teaching others, and to be able to be grateful once again for all lessons and opportunities that you have here. When you can't be grateful for here, when you can't be grateful for you and your lessons and experiences, and when you can't be grateful for an amazing team that you have to support all experiences for you, you are not in a high frequency perspective. And so this is something you need to look at, and we encourage all to do that. And so when we saw how humanity could want to come together to connect with each other in a mass group meditation, this gave us an interesting perspective, because we could not, and we have not seen that level of commitment to attend a worldwide meditation where you were using your free will to want to connect in with each other. This was a big, vast jumpment to other experiences we have witnessed for you as a collective on Earth. And so that got our attention. And also we realized that when it was just a single novelty experience, it wasn't enough to really have unity as we would have hoped. It was just a cool thing to do at the time, we say. And some of those who did use their free will to commit to that event had no true integrity to continue on with this as a larger group experience, while there are still many smaller groups doing significant collective work to be able to bring humanity together, still needs humanity to come together, regardless of whether there is best wishes and high hopes for a few groups. It still needs to be all that need to be doing this to use their free will to come together. So we also saw that it was going to be too chaotic, and for those who have life contracts to be on the old earth, to support those after the event who were nowhere near emotionally and mentally and spiritually ready to be able to assist those who needed the assistance. And we saw that this was going to not be a successful learning experience for all, because there was limited and lacking of true support. So we saw this as a strong problematic event, and we saw that what we had all been working for the results came up short, shall we say. And the lessons that need to be learnt independently for all who needed to learn and pay back what you call karma on the old earth experience was lacking. If you only half learn a lesson, even we saw some souls seeing this as another negative impact on them, which they did not see the significance and learn the lessons. They just took it as being vulnerable victims versus seeing this as a moment to come together, to empower each other and to empower self. And so we saw that this was just going to repeat in future events, what you would consider linear time as future events for you. This was not good enough for us or for the other collectives, because we need many souls to feel a community like they've never felt before. And it was insignificant for all collectives in 3D to come together to support all. And if there is certain souls here on Earth in the old Earth experience that feel again attacked by others, not respected and loved by others, this could then still have the implications of more future disasters, more destroying and destruction of planets and species and other experiences in your future. We do not want this. We are tired of this experience, because there is no more new growth from this. You could say we have played the game every single which way. And when there is no new experiences, it gets stagnant and stale, and this is problematic. So what we are showing the vehicle is that the lessons weren't experienced as they were needed to empower. The life contracts were not fully completed. There was much missing opportunities, which you can have high hopes for humanity to use their free will to do as they are guided to do. But of course, you know that with much love, humanity can be very stubborn, very slow, and very resistant to the changes, the lessons, and the learning and the experiences that they need to have. And this has been what we have been observing for quite some time now. And so when you take away all distractions, we know that this can make dramatic changes. So we have used this extra, what you could call bonus time, to upgrade people's connections more. Some souls who did not want to be aware of their spirituality this lifetime, they just wanted to have no distractions in terms of anything else, but just be a normal, and this is what they've said in their life contract, so we're not judging. They wanted normal, basic human lifetimes, life experiences. They did not want the range of emotions of a roller coaster. They just wanted to be a normal human, to do normal activities in a physical 3D life, and to have a stability of that normalcy, of just having routines of regular life living. And that is still valid, because they're still advanced souls. When they are not being shook with emotions and they are in their normal balance and routine, they can still be extremely high frequency vibrations. But yet some of you could look at their lives and not having a reaction to the hidden agendas and the not so hidden agendas. And you could feel so frustrated with them not being outraged like you are. You could be so frustrated that they don't seem to really notice or care about the health systems, the education systems, the politician systems, political systems, the environment systems. They just do not seem to have any interest in the topical current things. They may have a few personal hobbies, and that's it. And this can frustrate so many who are wanting to be outraged by all of it. And so they get lazily assumed and labeled upon being asleep. Their souls are not asleep. Their souls are advanced beings who are here to be of service. Much can be said about that. And so we are talking about some of those who have wanted to have easy human lives and not pay attention, not get attention, and not feel into the dramas of the Grand Awakening, because they know at a soul level all is well, and that this is just what is needed to play out for all the lessons and experiences that were needed on this earth. And so we have communicated with their soul families, with their subconsciouses, what you call subconsciouses, which are their higher aspects of self in different realities, which are observing and guiding and being guardians to this planet. They have chosen to now be activated into a more stronger awakening of awareness, so they can then still have high frequency and still not lose themselves over what you'd call the crimes against humanity, but to be able to have their balance and maturity and perspectives of still respecting and still surviving on Earth without losing their inner peace. And so they are what we would sort of call strong, grounded leaders of spirituality that have got optimism and hope and a strong faith that all is well. Even if they don't know or can label, they may say it is God. They may have faith in God will sort this mess out. And that you can have just balance and trust and love. And this is significant because those souls did not want to be leaders this lifetime, and yet they know that there needs to be more support. And some of the original leaders, what we could say original, who were supposed to have bigger roles, have burnt themselves out, either through the lack of their own empowerment of self, relying on too many other people to praise them and give them attention and believe them in their intuition, There's a whole lot of reasons why people have used their free wills to not step up into their leadership roles here on Earth. And we have seen this time and time again. And there is no judgment on that, just the distractions of life and maybe the not supportive family or friends or social circles have been able to encourage that leader out into being that leadership role. Most true leaders have tried to avoid this role. And it is understandable, because when you're trying to be a positive influencer, you're asking for positive change. And when people can only see negative around them, they don't want to have any balance, because they're still playing intensity and the dramatics of the experiences. There's much to be said there. And so from our perspective, we have needed to awaken and activate many more who are very capable of being natural leaders, very capable of stop their distractions of their own tools to just keep them here. We are saying there is highly functional, big energy beings here who still have what you would call interesting addictions. It's still not, while it's affecting their bodies, it's not affecting their soul as such as you would assume. But for those who need to be consciously focused, to be able to be consciously communicating with others to inspire and empower others, they are noticing that their tools of addiction have fallen away at a rapid rate. And this is quite strange, because they're noticing what you could call speed bubbles in their growth. No, not speed bubbles, speed wobbles. When you suddenly are on that trike and going faster than ever before, and it is you taking full responsibility of that bike, of that trike, and no one is holding you and balancing you. You're doing all on your own with no crutches, no other what you would call support systems apart from us guiding you. It would seem like magic. Some of you have gone so fast it has scared you, but some of you have wanted to be fully scared to have profound awakenings, because your other versions of self and your bigger dimensional soul aspects have also got other things to do which are very pressing, and potentially it is impacting other soul family members being here, and it's also impacting other soul family members who are off planet having other physical lifetimes. This is an urgent there's a desperation. There's much to be done. And while you can say you're all multidimensional beings, and that is true, there is concepts of linear time on planets. And so we are needing to focus on much. And this is dragging our attention into many different places. And we have used this analogy before, and we will say it again. It is like 1,000 pots of, there is 1,000 elements in a very busy kitchen, and there is many chefs in this kitchen, and all of those elements have been turned on, and they all have pots on them. Some of them have water, some of them have oil, some of them have different liquids that will be at different boiling points, and they're all raging. And it is a very busy kitchen, and we are trying to keep all of these pots in balance as they are needed to be. We have recipes for all that's in these pots, and it is not just an individual recipe. This is a family recipe that we respect and honor. And if you, not all chefs are in the kitchen, just like not all your collectives are here for you now. Many are, but you have such bigger soul families and bigger connections to other others, it's a very, very large amount of beings and soul essences. And so it's not possible for everyone to be in the kitchen. And so for those who are in the kitchen, for those who are guiding and supporting you now, we always want to say that our love and attention on you is our main focus. And we are sorry some of you feel like we're not watching and not supporting. And we say we are always. Please remind yourselves that some of your harder lessons are purposeful. And so as we are watching each stove, what you could say each pot, which you could say each planet, we know that this planet has got many chefs that designed this, and their recipes for success, their recipes for experiences, their recipes for how they want the flavors of the experience of the recipe of the meal, of the entirety of the content of that pot is very significant to all. Is crucial, and there are so many ingredients that have gone into this special pot, and we are saying that some of these meals are about to finish, some of these experiences are about to complete and need to be switched off, and then they can be presented and recalled, and the memories of this experience will always be recalled and recorded. All is recorded. We want to remind you all that every single life has what you label time frame, time limit, time experience. And we're saying for this one that you're currently in, they're all done to perfection. We don't want to say you're all cooked to perfection because that will give you a connotation of something else. You're all prepped and prepared, and you've had your full range of experiences, and you graduate, and that is recorded. We have wanted to honor more experiences because if we had shifted those back in 2020, there would still be outstanding experiences. And while you still can have options to go to other 3D planets, it is not the same as Earth. And we saw much significance in extending this out. And we ask all for you to remember your focus, which is love of yourself and love of others. And please do not dismiss that. It is significant. It must be your focus and your attention and your routine for all and always. This will raise your frequency profoundly, and this will raise the frequency of others profoundly. This is your purpose. This is your mission. And you're completely skilled, beyond skilled, and extremely capable of doing this. There is nothing limiting you at all. There is no blocks. There is no limits for you to do this apart from your choice of free will and your assumptions and perspectives that you can't. You can, you choose to not. Please know the difference. It is just a perspective. And so you're very capable. There is nothing stopping you but your choices. So look at what is stopping you. Look at your choices and your reasons and your rationalities of why you're not completely in love with yourself, and respect yourself and honor yourself and celebrate yourself, and why you can be holding back doing that to others. Everybody deserves love. Everybody is seeking love. Please share your high frequency, your joy with others. We hope this has clarified things. We love you. And we are more than happy to confirm this to you. If you are still needing proof, use your free will and ask us for the confirmations that you're seeking. And when we give them to you, do not doubt it. And when we give it to you, then move forward and be guided and trusted. Those who are in your lives, either physically or interactively online, they are your soul family. They are your brothers and sisters. They are your soul family friends. They deserve your love. They deserve your attention. They deserve your compassion. They deserve your empathy. And you deserve to have your balance always and forever. And we say this with much love and appreciation for all who can be of service.